last time I showed you, I have been really working on this. This is my fifth grandchild, his stocking. He is due to be born July 13th. So I've got a lot done. So right now what I'm doing is I am working up towards the corner. So let me show you what I mean by that. And I do things way differently than people you will see in the cross stitch community, but that's okay. Okay, so is it this one? Nope. Well, I had it bookmarked. Yeah. Okay, so what I am doing, this is the one that I'll be doing. This is what it's going to look like. So as you can see, I got a lot done so far. Just to have started it a couple weeks ago. And so what I am doing is I am working my way, I'm right around in here, this area. So I'm working my way up to here. And then I'm gonna work myself down. And the reason why I started like that is because I started here in the middle. See where these arrows are? I started down here because I did not feel like counting and graphing all of this all the way up to here. So I'm just working myself all the way up and over. Then I will probably go down like this way and spread that way. I don't know. The jury is still out. So I usually like to go by the book, but this is my friend's book. So I don't want to keep it too long. So I took a picture of the little area that I'm doing with my iPad and following it that way. So as you can see, so I'm not using an app. So as you can see, I'm working myself this way to that corner. And then I take a picture, of course, of this. So I don't have an app like most people do for their cross stitch. I don't have anything like that. And I do things just a little different because that's just how I do it. And because I learned differently 40-something years ago. We learned a lot different, and like I said before, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And I am an old dog. So okay, so what I am doing right now is I am working on the letter I right here, or the symbol. And so far I have this done, which you can't see because it's off. So I'm working in this area, which is this. So I'm working on this, so you can kind of see here where it goes. And then I'm right here. Okay, I'm trying to count here as I go. So, and what I was doing before is I was taking a pencil, and I just haven't done it yet, but I've taken a pencil and kind of drawn out 10 by 10 squares, and I haven't done that, so that's why it's taken me just a little longer. And I don't even like doing that because the pencil lead smears, and I could do a washable or an erasable pen, but I just don't want to go. I just don't want to do that. So I'm making it more difficult on myself, but that's okay, right? Okay, so let's see. Okay, here we go. So it looks like we are here, and we're going to work all the way down to here. So it just looks like solid eyes, which is a good thing. Solid eyes, that sounds so weird. So, and I work on top of my fabric here instead of going down and under, and only because I have bad arthritis and it hurts my wrist to go like this a lot, and my fingers. See, I've got arthritis in my fingers, but that's okay. I've always started hating my hands with all this arthritis showing, and my daughter reminded me, she says, Mom, she says, those hands took care of me all these years and Blake. And those hands bake cookies and things for our children and give hugs. And my daddy holds those hands. And that almost made me cry. So I can no longer say that to her because she's like, Mom, do not ever say that again. So, but it hurts. Arthritis hurts. And so I am sewing as long as I can. And I'm trying to get all the little stockings done. I think this may be my last grandchild. I'm not sure. So I might as well go ahead and finish them while I can. So, well, that was a sad story. I didn't need it to be sad, but okay. So now we did that. So we're gonna go over and then up 2 more. See what I'm saying? That's kind of how I do it. I'm weird. I talk to myself. I always say over 1 plus 2 and over 1 down 3. So I kind of count through it. So this is going to look weird because it's just going to be one strip going this way instead of filling all this in. But like I said, I like to work myself up to a corner and then fill in and go down. So when I say I do top stitching, this is what I mean. And I always make sure that my bottom thread is going the same direction. Most people go here for their bottom and then cross it this way. I do the opposite because that's how I learned years ago, and some of my older friends learned this way too. So we all kind of stitch this way. It's real funny. And we see other people stitching the other way and we're like, oh, that hurts our brains. Oh, goodness. But I've gotten used to it now because I love watching people cross stitch and talk and all that other fun stuff. So, do I have any stories for y'all? I'm trying to think. Did I tell y'all about my daughter? She was, if not, I'll tell you again. If you haven't heard it, then great. If not, you can just sit here and watch me stitch and turn the volume down. I probably said I'm like one of those old people that keep repeating things. My daughter was, both my kids live probably about 5-10 minutes from me, something like that. Just the next town over. One lives in the same town, but on the other side. And let me see, hang on. 2, did I say 2 up? Yeah, so 1 and then 2 more. So meet that and 2 more. Okay. So she was over here, and then she went, we all went to church, and then this is on a Wednesday night, so we just went to a Bible study. And then actually it's last Wednesday, so it's a week from today, although you're probably watching this. I'm going to upload this for later, but I'm going to upload this on a Saturday. But anyway, it was on a Wednesday. And let me count just a second. So up 2 more and up across. And so she lives out in the boons, and this crazy man started banging on her door, and this is super late at night. And her husband's a firefighter, but he wasn't on shift that day, but he was out checking on his grandfather. And so Lindsay calls me, and she ended up calling 911 because this man said, she says, can I help you? She did not open the door. I've taught her well. And he comes and, okay, skip 1 and then go all the way down. Okay. So she comes and, or calls my husband. And when I say she was 5 or 10 minutes away, he got there in 2 minutes. He was just hoping and praying a cop would pull him over and escort him over there because, he was worried. But the cops beat him there. So, anyway, come to find out, this man had been going around, and we live in a very good, safe city. So, this is kind of unusual. And he'd been going around to all of her neighbors. And I say neighbors, she's out in the country. So, your nearest neighbor is not very near. But he was knocking on everybody's door. And he knocked on one of the neighbors that she knows and hers, asking for, saying that his car broke down and can he borrow their water hose. And Lindsay says, "We don't have a hose, I'm sorry." But, she's not going to give him anything like that. And he says, "I just need some kind of water or something." She says, "I'm sorry, you're going to have to go somewhere else." And she's got a big wraparound porch, and he was just going back and forth on her porch, waiting for her to open the door until the cops showed up. So, and then he took off, and the cops came and told her there's no broken down car anywhere. And he is nowhere to be in sight. And he's been trying to do this with people. So that was kind of creepy. So she came over, needless to say, she came over and spent the night. She spent the next 5 nights because her husband had to work overtime at the fire station. And then he had a 48-hour shift. So she spent that night and then the next 4 nights and over at our house. And it was just crazy. And so now she's getting back to where it's kind of scary for her to kind of go, hang on. Okay, we got the same amount and stop. Okay. So it's kind of scary for her to get back home. So we went over there and, and made sure that everything was okay and all of that. So anyway, she has a 6-year-old son, and his name is Roman. And one of the nights that they spent the night, we got up to go to church on a Sunday morning, and he came in and he says, "Omi, can you help me get dressed?" And he had a little vest on, like a suit vest, that kind that, I'm talking about, a real nice suit vest, like a 3-piece suit, but the vest part. He had that on top of his like no shirt. He just had that. He had it buttoned up. He was so proud of himself. Then he had his dress shirt on the outside of that, upside down. So behind him, down here was his collar, and the tail of a shirt was up here by his head, and he had his sleeves on. It was just all backwards. And I was laughing. He says, "Omi, can you help me? I cannot get this buttoned." I said, "Well, sir, there is a reason for that." And I said, "Lindsay, have you seen your son, how he's trying to dress himself?" She says, "Yes, I about died, and I had him come in there and ask you to help him to get dressed just so you could see that." It was the funniest thing. Anyway, it was so cute. And but anyway, it's weird because, I don't have empty nest syndrome anymore. My kids have been out for married for 10 years or something. And so obviously I don't have the empty nest syndrome anymore. Well, I don't know. Some people never get over it, but I sure did. I got over it in about a week. It's like, oh, I bounced myself. Well, anyway, it was sad when they left. It's like I went through empty nest syndrome all over again. So if any of y'all done that before, it was the weirdest thing. And they'd only spent the night. Probably what? Okay, hang on. We're skipping 2 and then 1. They only spent the night, 5 nights, but it was awful. So I can't imagine all you grandparents out there who have grandchildren that live far away and come and see you for a week or something and then go. That's got to be so hard because I see my grandkids all the time. So anyway, but it was, I don't know, I got a little tiny glimpse of what other grandparents go through. that day, but boy, it was so cute. So I will definitely have this stocking done by the time, not by the time baby James gets here, because he probably, I don't know, Anna doesn't go, she's my daughter-in-law. She doesn't, she goes real quick. Like she is a baby factory, let me tell you, and not producing a bunch of babies. That's not what I mean. Well, this is her fourth, but and her last. But she carries them well. She never has any problems, knock on wood. And she goes into labor. She has all natural labors. She starts her first contraction, and the baby is out in 2 hours. I mean, she is just like a dream machine for, having children. Anyway, but usually, and she's super tiny. She's just little. And she has big babies too. I mean, it's crazy. This last child she has, I mean, she probably weighs 100 pounds soaking wet. She's like 5'4", little tiny. And she had an almost 9-pound baby. And just no problem. And her other children were, like 7 pounds normal, but this last one about got her. So we don't know. This one is measuring about a week ahead. So we will see if it's another boy. I only have one granddaughter out of 5 grandchildren. My daughter just has the one son. And I don't know if they're going to have any more. I'm not sure. The jury is still out on that. And she's 32, so I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, so Anna usually goes about 39 weeks, 38 to 39 weeks, and then she has them. So we will see. But anyway, this video has gone on long enough. I won't keep you because I'm rambling, and I got to focus and concentrate and count and all that fun stuff. Let me see. So I don't want to lose my place. So we've got 2, and then we've got, let's see. Okay, so we went up 1, 2, 3. We went up 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to be here. So I go down 2. Okay. Anyway, so you see the crazy fun way I count, but we're starting down here and going up. So this is kind of how I do it. I talk to myself. And, before I let you go, I have been trying the parking. So especially when I was getting up here and I knew I'd be going this way, I had a real long thread. I would just park it here in the next spot. And I always started like whatever was closest in this area, because since I'm going this way. And it was okay, but my thread still kind of got tangled up and everything. And eventually I stopped parking because I like to start and stop my thread the way I do it. And if you've seen me do it, you'll see it on my other cross stitch video that's, I think, 2 before this or something. Anyway, it's one of these stocking videos when I was starting it. And I'll show you I show you there how I start and stop. But it's so much fun. I like to do that. Call me crazy, I know. But anyway, I was going to tell you about that parking method that I did try it. You would be proud of me. I did try it, but like I said, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But anyway, let's see. Got that. And then I go up, right? Do I go up? Yeah, just skip 1. I skip the bottom. Okay. So thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next thread.